Hi, everyone. So it turns out that you guys have been formally studied since the 1990s. Yep, entrepreneurs have been formally studied since the 1990s, simply because the idea is entrepreneurs are drivers of economic development, they're drivers of innovation, they're change agents, but you know this already. What this means that there's so much information out there in books, magazines, journals, policy, curricula on you guys, right? There's studies on how to encourage the entrepreneurial mindset, but what happens to the brains behind the magic? How much have those been studied? They have been studied a little bit, but it's very splintered and disorganized. So we see some work on brains, on entrepreneurial brains in organizational psychology. Maybe we see it in HR. I think everyone's probably heard of the MBTI. But actually, what about the mental health and well-being of entrepreneurs? That hasn't been touched on at all. How do entrepreneurs do emotionally, cognitively, socially? Now we know already that there's enough of a buzz around mental health at the workplace. There's enough of a buzz around mental health in the startup culture, but why is this passing by entrepreneurs, right? Why is there a lack of information? And I can tell you now that there are very few studies, if any, on entrepreneurial mental well-being. It's odd, right, that the enterprise rests on this person's shoulders and their mental health cascades down to everyone else in the organization, and yet there's nothing on entrepreneurial mental well-being. So MHI and ASCENT came together to do a study on mental well-being of Indian entrepreneurs in the growth phase, or Indian entrepreneurs who are growth ready, and the unique life stressors they face in their lives, in their environment, and the resulting challenges to their mental well-being. We'll also learn about how entrepreneurs here cope, right? Why is this important? It's important because this lack of focus on entrepreneurial mental well-being has led to quite a few unfortunate wake-up calls. We all know what happened in July earlier this year. So the time is here and now, because I don't want any more unfortunate wake-up calls. I'm actually going to ask Ajit a few questions, because it's better that you hear from the horse's mouth than from me. Ajit is one of the people who participated in this study. And so Ajit, I'm just going to ask you, why did you participate and what was going through your mind when taking the ASCENT MHI study?
So Rajvi, when you're running a business, it comes with a baggage of a lot of fears, uncertainties. And you're always living with these fears, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to sort this out? The reason I took the survey is, I just want to find out that these are only my fears or there's fears with everybody else. Because if there's more people who's having the same kind of fears, I know I can reach out to somebody who's kind of figured it out. So what I'm really looking at is what came out of that survey. And my motivation to take that survey was only to figure out that are there many more people who's got similar kind of challenges, and how are they kind of trying to fix it? And that was the reason.
Right. Well, I'm happy to report that around 40% of your cohort, that is 40% of ASCENT members, actually participated in the study. Now, this signals two things for me. One is that at least 40%, almost half of you, thought that mental well-being is extremely important. Now, I know all of you are strapped for time, so you're not going to do things that you don't find important. That's number one. Number two, it signals a lot of trust that you were able to share this. So I'm very grateful for the trust that ASCENT has managed to engender. So, when you spoke about not being alone, maybe you had some certain fears. Can you share a bit about your entrepreneurial journey and when you experienced maybe the most challenge or the most stress?
So I got into the family business, and I'm in the business of air conditioning. So I kind of wanted to scale up the business, and I figured out there's a large multinational company which is doing very good, and they were not in India. So I reached out to them and I said that, hey, why don't I help you get into India? They said, no, India's not ready. It's too early market. So I took a risk. I just took some money and I sent it to them and I told them that, hey, listen, you got the money. Send me a container. I'm going to actually test market it for you. Starting from there, in 10 years, we actually built a big brand in India. And with 13 offices, 300 people, and we really scaled up big time.
Brilliant.
And we did well. In the 10th year, they said that we want to do business in India ourselves. So here I was with 300 employees, 13 offices, a huge lot of debt from the bank, and no business. Absolutely facing bankruptcy. That I don't know how to handle this situation now. And I guess that's when everything started changing for us. And it was like, a family business which was doing very well for 20, 25 years. The only thing that I did was I took a chance and I worked hard for it. And here we're facing that we will lose everything in one go. That's when things started becoming difficult.
Right. Well, you wondered whether you were alone, and you're not alone, because actually when we did the study, we found that the biggest areas or stressors for entrepreneurs across gender, age, type of business, the growth stage of the business, were cash flows, team management, and the fear of failure and letting people down. So you're not alone. How did that impact your life? How did that impact your family? What were the manifestations of this stress?
So it impacts everything. It impacts your family relationships, it impacts your health, and pretty much trying to figure out how to start. Now at this stage, I can actually stay back and say it, we literally broke it up into 3 parts. One is phase 1, we don't go bankrupt. How do we handle that situation? What do we need to do? Phase 2, how do I have something so that I can survive? And phase 3, that I am probably born to do something bigger. That's a bloody dream. So that's just a dream, So break it up into those 3 buckets. The phase 1, I was pretty fortunate because my family, friends stood together. They kind of helped me out. And it involved everything. It was completely uncertain. So whether it was going to the bankers, falling at their feet, and telling them that, hey, we've done so many years. You got to give me some more time. I'll fix it. Going to the principals, even the guy who actually got you to this stage, and tell them, give me some more time. Let me not go bankrupt. And we survived that situation, and maybe we're destined for something bigger. That's what it is. And we also got the phase 2, whereby we learned to actually have an alternative business, which was much smaller. And the whole challenge, 300 employees, I had to reach out to them and tell them that, listen, I promised you something, but I screwed up. I don't know, but it's out of my control. So can I help you get another job within the industry? And that's what we actually did. It's very easy to say that right now, but at that moment, if you really want to know, everything was like, can I just dump everything and put an end to everything? Just can't handle that stress, sleepless nights, and the acquisitions that come across, everything. So that becomes pretty difficult. But we tied through the situation, we survived, and we are making our 3rd phase a reality.
Congratulations, it's hard to do, but I'm going to pick a few things out that you said. One is you had a support system. Is that one of the ways that you used to cope with this? What were some of the other ways you used?
So the family and friends was there, and I think it's about 4 years ago when I got very fortunate to be part of ASCENT. Now, literally right now, I have a trust group. So it's great that I am going out there for these trust group meetings. I look forward to it. And most of the time when we go there, you think you have a problem and you hear someone else's problem and he says, dude, he needs my help. And your problem looks smaller. So that's a big support. And the other thing is on a personal level, during my down phase, I had hit diabetes. My health had gone for a toss. So I got into running in a very big way. I started training for the marathon. I reversed my diabetes and got my health back. And that becomes part of my lifestyle. And I launched my new venture, which is Pure Blue, which is an IoT-based company to offer cooling solutions as a service and smart AMC.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I'm just going to quickly mention some of the takeaways from this study. It's really important. as part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem to change the attitudes that we have around failure. Good things have come for you from it. But more importantly, when we did the study, we realized that one of the concerns for entrepreneurs was mental well-being concerns themselves, being seen as failures. So this is something that we really need to change. A lot of the tactics you mentioned, running, sports, now all of these are informal and individual. How do we plan our mental well-being systemically and in an organized fashion? There are a couple of things. One is we need to shift the narrative in media, in B schools, in entrepreneurs networks that failure is okay, it could be a driver for innovation, and it's not as linked to the individual as you may feel. You are not alone, and most importantly, we need to build multiple pathways to resilience. Resilience varies over time and context, but we need to have multiple pathways to resilience, biological, psychological, related to our temperament, and of course, building social support systems. So thank you, Ajit. I think our time is up.
Thanks,
so,
Rajvi.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.